So as you probably know, we have a new project of ADAlilar School magazine. And in frame of this project, we have different guest speakers from different areas of businesses. And this is our second guest speaker. And this guest is very special for me because we worked together many years ago, probably in 1998. And now Mr. Ilgar Mehti is a owner of the very successful and famous company in Azerbaijan. It's full-service legal, tax, and advisory company, consulting company in Azerbaijan. And I think it's better to talk about this company for Ilgar himself. But before introducing the guest, I would like to introduce our project manager, our new project manager, Zafer Shirinayev, and he will talk just shortly about our project, our ADAlilar magazine journal, and present the journal to the guest. Welcome.
You can hear me, right? First of all, thank you for everybody that came here. It's actually a very great pleasure to see so much of people in our new project. Most of you know that we already had one session with Ekvita. I think that it was a successful one. I think you love that. Today we also had some honorable guest, Ilgar Mehti. Thank you for you to come to our project. I think most of you already know the concept of Friday Talks. This is the nearly interview podcast genre of the project. I will try to give a little explanation what's going to happen, so you'll have an overview how the session will go. Nearly the event will take 1 hour. So first of all, we will have the speech of our guest. Our guest will introduce his speech, his program, what he's doing, and overview about him. And you will have an opportunity to ask any questions that are interested for you, that we are interested in, with Mr. J. Ilgar's company. But there is a specific rule. One person is allowed to ask 2 questions. This came from the previous session. We had a lot of questions. Okay. After the questions, as you already probably should know, we will have nomination of the one best question asked to Mr. Ilgar. Mr. Ilgar, you will choose yourself the best question from the audience. And after we will go to pretty interesting online questions. Unfortunately, there were some people that cannot come here but already show reaction to this event. So we gathered 5 interesting questions that people wanted to ask. And now I first of all want to present you ADAlilar magazine, our journal, 4th edition, if somebody can please. This is our journal, official project of ADA community. Here people can show their creativity, open their ideas, and probably show what their interest to the ADA community contribution. So I would like to present this for you. So, first we are starting with
a guest.
Yeah.
Yes.
Much appreciated. Hello everyone. Do you prefer me to speak in English or you? Yes? Yeah? Okay. With some of you I met yesterday in our office. Thank you for coming, by the way. It was very unplanned, but not least interesting. Based on the questions that I received, I really enjoyed talking to all of you. So, as we did yesterday, I don't have any formal presentations, right? I think it makes more sense if you talk about yourselves, if you give me your questions, and we explore career opportunities, for example, or education choices, or anything else, starting from hobbies and going all the way to discussions about macroeconomic situation, whatever you like, except politics. You know? I don't like politics. I hope you also don't like it. So, do we like that outline? Because I want to give the floor to you mostly, because I suspect you have good questions and you would like to ask your questions. So, if anybody wants to be a volunteer to take the very first bold move. Okay, we have two ladies here. I saw your hand first, so yes, please.
Hello. First of all, I'm so Muslim, and thanks for welcoming. And I have two questions for you. First one is about everyone has many challenges during their career path. And what were your main challenges during this 25 years?
Thank you so much. So first question is, everybody had a challenge in their career, so what was my biggest challenge, right? That was the first question. I think my biggest challenge was how I learned to make decisions myself. Getting ready to take bold decisions and make those decisions on your own, independently, thinking about the consequences of those decisions was the hardest thing to learn for me. Obviously, at the early stage of my career, I made a lot of mistakes while taking those decisions. But at the same time, nothing shaped me better than those decisions and those mistakes that I've made. So I think that ability to learn how to make good decisions is the biggest challenge. And I think it will be the biggest challenge for many people, not just me.
Thank you. And the second question was about what is your background, one person you are currently trying to achieve?
Sorry, I didn't hear it well.
What is one personal goal you are currently trying to achieve right now?
Personal goal I'm trying to reach. Well, it's not job related. I started learning horse riding, and I spent a lot of time communicating with my horses and trying to understand their language and trying to become their best friend is very, very tough. But I'm learning, so that's my biggest challenge for the moment. You're welcome. This lady was second, sorry, then we'll go to you. And then speak up please, because I don't hear you, it's quite loud in here. You can come here, yeah. What was the moment when I understood that I achieved something? I think it was when I was just about your age, when I first entered the university. I got the news that I managed to get into Baku State University, Faculty of International Law. So for me that was my biggest achievement, first biggest achievement. Welcome. Thank you. Yes, please. Lessons about leadership and team management. The biggest lesson was, as I shared yesterday with some of the members here, the way you help other people perform at their best, the way you identify some unique personality traits in your employees and help them to become their better versions. I think that's my biggest leadership challenge and something that I admire doing. Thank you. Thank you. Siz sonrasız. What made me to create this company? You know, I was looking for something and I didn't find that in other places that I worked. I worked at only in 2 places before Ekvita, so in both places I wanted to learn the leadership skills. I wanted to do something different and I wanted to create something of my own. I didn't have that opportunity, so I decided to try it on my own.
Thank you. And my second question, how you understand that you have what it takes to create this company?
Sorry, what was the question?
How you understand that you have what it takes to create this company? Like you have this abilities to create.
No. When I started, I didn't have any of these abilities, of course. It was, at those times, it was very tough to create a business. It's much easier now. You can create a company by simple SMS, but in my time it was extremely difficult. So I didn't even know how to create a company, so there was a lot of challenges. But once you create it and I think the moment you sign your first contract, that's the moment when you realize, oh, I managed it. Because creating a company is very easy, everybody can do it with one SMS. But when you start getting clients, that's when you realize it's something serious. Yeah. You're welcome. You please. In future, the biggest challenge I think everybody is facing now, economy is going downward. It's going to be tough for every sector, for every company, and not only in our country but everywhere. So I think the biggest challenge will be to overcome those economic difficulties. Because when the economy is weak, it's tough for everyone. So that will be the biggest challenge. Even for yourselves, you will start feeling it when the economy is not going in the same pace as we are used to. Everybody will face that challenge.
I also have a second question. How did you came up with the logo of Ekvita?
Logo of Ekvita. If you look at it, it looks like the first letter in the name of the company. It looks like letter E, English E, and at the same time it looks like 3 ticks. So each tick denoting some meaning. So like international quality at local rates, first tick. The second tick being a go-to firm. So each element of the logo has some meaning behind it, but at the same time together they're like letter E, the first letter of the name of the company. Thank you. Sorry, I can't. Yeah, of course, creating a company is nothing. The biggest part is to maintain the company for more than 3 years, and we kept the company for more than 15 years now. So in every business, the hardest part is to maintain and grow. The hardest part is not to create. To create is the easiest part. So of course the hardest part is to develop company. Come up with idea. For me, no, because I was doing what I like doing anyway. So in my case, I didn't come with some innovative product, I didn't come with some technology breakthrough solution. It was just doing what I'm accustomed to. So idea-wise, it wasn't so tough, but what was difficult is to continue doing what everybody else is doing, but do it in a different way. So that's where we distinguish ourselves. please.
I have a question. How did you come up with this idea of your business, and what was your motivation to create?
How did I come up with this idea? I believe I answered that question already. Motivation for me was to do something of my own, something that I can, something that I really wanted to try deep down in my heart. I think what people often miss, allow me to share this with you guys. People think that the biggest goal is to be entrepreneur, to become a business person, to create your own company. That's when you are successful. That's totally untrue. You don't have to be an entrepreneur, a business person to be successful. You can be extremely successful working somewhere. You can be totally happy when you work for some company. You don't have to have your own company. If everybody creates their own company, then who is going to work? That's the problem. The moment you create your own company, you will start hiring people, and those people will also want to create their own companies, and they will not work for you. So you have to be mindful of this dilemma that people create companies not because that's the only way to become successful. That's not true. I didn't create company because of that. In fact, even before leaving my first job, I had 2 jobs before Ekvita, but even at the first job where we worked with Samir together, I was extremely successful. I was very, very successful. I had a brilliant career, and I was receiving a salary, even by today's standards, it was extremely good salary. BP is generally very generous in salaries. So I was successful in many different ways, no matter how you look at it. But I went to another company for a less remuneration, for a lesser salary, because I wanted something else from my career, not just successful career development, but something else deeply rooted in my heart. So, long story short, in order to be successful, you don't have to create a company. You can be successful in your current career. You create company when you really have some other drivers inside of you. When you are certain you can do something extra, you can do something special. At that moment, you have such a significant energy, and you need that energy, by the way, because when you create a company, you will face so many challenges. It will be so difficult to maintain a company, and without this energy inside of you, you won't be able to proceed. So it's not true that success equals entrepreneurship, success equals business ownership. That's not true. A successful career can be without creating a company. Thank you. But you asked already the question, no?
No problem, you can ask how many you want.
Let me give a chance to that lady because she didn't ask any question. So I don't hear you.
Ekvita company is what you are going for, or is it the most that you are striving?
I still don't hear you.
Is there more like that? Is there something you are striving for, like was at this company? Yes, beyond this company.
Yes, horse riding. Let me tell you this, if I may. Can I, you can see, please, thank you for the question. I really feel obliged to share my observation on one particular element, and I hope you will take it with dignity. You created all these questions yourself. You wrote them on your telephones, and you came here to ask your specific question. Can I ask why? Why you're asking these questions? Be honest. Please be honest. Because you want to learn something, or because you want to get a certificate? Again, there's no one here, it's just ourselves.
And YouTube. Half of YouTube. Just don't make it.
Okay, it's only us here, right? And it's extremely important at this stage of our career to be honest with ourselves. Because if we are falling into this trap of, certificate collection, then we're going the wrong path. That's not how you gain knowledge. There are some people here, I can see from their eyes, who haven't asked any question yet, but they are learning from this conversation. And I really want you to think about this. I'm not saying preparing a question in advance is wrong. In fact, it's the best way. You come prepared with your questions. But what I'm seeing is those should not be standard questions. Those should not be, typical question you see people asking about challenges, and you'd rather. I was the same when I was your age, by the way, so I was no different. And that was a wrong attitude as well. I'm not saying, oh, I was better. Absolutely not. But I made that mistake so that you don't repeat it. Otherwise, there will be no progress in any society. The elder people, they make mistakes, then communicate those mistakes to younger generations so that you don't repeat those mistakes. Otherwise, we keep just going around the circle, repeating the same cycle of human development or economic development. So I'm not communicating these mistakes. You have to get rid of this desire to be better than your colleague. You have to be better than yourself yesterday. That's where you need to focus on. What I learned today versus yesterday. Some of the questions we discussed yesterday, yes, not all of you participated at that event, but those who did, they already have answers to those questions. Some of these questions you can explore in the internet yourself. So how would I do it myself if I were your age now? With this knowledge that I have today, if I go back to your age, I would be dancing here. I would ask so many questions. I would go so deep because I would be lusting for information. Because you really need that information to move your career forward. And I don't know what that information is for you at the moment, but you certainly know. And why are you not asking me? What's stopping you? And another question, what's stopping you from remembering your questions? Why do you have to look into your mobile phone for your own question? What if you forget a word or two? You ask a question, maybe not in the same words as you have written them, but with different words. It's okay, as long as if it is your deeply rooted concern, you will find ways to express yourself. You don't have to tell me those exact words written in your mobile phone. You just tell me what you want to know, and I quickly grasp you. That's how you create confidence, right? That's how you have energy inside of you. You have a dinosaur who wants to go out. That's how you become different. And I'm sure everybody is the same. It's just we don't get enough tools in our life. We don't get the prerequisite teaching methodologies to help us use that talent. Okay? You already asked one question. Let me give a chance to this gentleman, if you don't mind. Yes, please.
So while introducing yourself, that you said that you don't want to discuss the politics and you don't like the politics.
Yes.
May we know why you don't like it and you don't want to discuss it?
Well, I don't want to discuss it because I don't like it. and I don't like it because, well, I don't like it for so many reasons, but how to frame it in a short way. I don't like politics because I think it can be very manipulative. Maybe that's the main reason. It can be very manipulative, and I don't like manipulating people. I guess that's the answer. I want, straightforward relationship. I want to be sincere and honest and talk about hot topics, which can be painful, but at least we are talking honestly about those topics. The moment you enter politics, you're losing some degree of sincerity. And that's where things become a little manipulative. Yani suallar bitenden sonra size keçer eder. Çünkü kimler ki hiç sual vermeyin, onlara şans vermeyen borcunuz. Buyurun hanım.
What was your first step in this project?
In which project?
In this project, what was your first step?
First step, by project you mean what?
This project.
Well, I established company 15 years ago, so it's not a project anymore. It's a lifestyle. And my first step was, well, the first step, the actual decision itself, when you say, I'm going to do it. That's the biggest decision. That's a very tough decision, because to do it, you have to quit your job and you have to put all eggs in one basket. That's what I did, and it was tough. So if you're ready to make that bold move, then that's your first step. Right? Buyurun. Yes. The answer is yes. Tax doesn't depend on your age, and any profit you generate is taxable. Any profit. There are some exceptions, but those are very rare exceptions. Thank you. Yes.
You said that you established a company 15 years ago and now see your lifestyle. Can I ask you how your life changed after establishing it? Can you separate it from before and after?
My life changed dramatically, of course. My life changed significantly, and it changed in every dimension. One thing I should tell you, by the way, people think I will create companies so that I can work less, I can be a manager of my own, I can be the boss of my own, whatever you call it. I ended up actually working more. And even today, I work more than many of my former colleagues. And from the moment I created the company, I never used out of office reply in Microsoft Outlook. In Microsoft Outlook, when you go on vacation, you write a text and it automatically replies. When somebody emails you, he gets an email response saying, I'm on vacation, don't disturb me, I will come back after 1 month, for example. I was always using it when I was in BP, but the moment I created my company, I stopped using it. So for 15 years, I never used it, and I don't think I will ever use it now. So I ended up working more, but the interesting trick is this. Even though I work more, I enjoy it more. Even though I work more, I'm less tired than I was before. Because I do what I love, and it helps me to use my creative capacity. It helps me to unravel my skills, whatever you call it. So that's the reason I think most people, most entrepreneurs don't find it stressful when they work more. That lady next to you, she also had, yes, you had a question as well. I stopped you, sorry.
Presentation yesterday. You thought that people are setting goal for their comfort in their lives. If they are in comfort zone, so they don't develop. And most companies search for their comfort environment. So I wanted to ask that what's your goal that you will stop developing your company? So if it's not a comfort zone.
There is no such goal. There is no such target to create a company and for example, once I reached certain level of revenue, I will stop working. There is no such thing. And if you have that mentality, that's not suitable for a business environment. That's why business people, they keep working and working, not because they are greedy, but because they can add value. And you can add value for an unlimited period of time as long as you are doing the right things. So again, that's another misconception about doing a business. Oh, I will stop when I reach $1 million. Well, that's not a business goal. That's not a proper business goal. That's a goal to earn money. That's a goal to become rich. But that's not a proper business strategy. Once we reach $1 million revenue, we will stop getting new clients, new customers. No, that's not how business works. So you shouldn't put yourself targets like that, and we don't have targets like that either. I never had. Even when I started the company, I never had that target, to be honest. 15 years ago, I never had a target somehow linked to my revenue. I had many other targets, but not revenue related. Okay, thank you. Yes, please. Buying what? I don't hear that. Yes. I buy local stocks, so I don't buy international stocks. Only local market. Oh, that's a good question. Maybe because I'm a lawyer by background. You know what that means? The lawyers are trained to be risk averse. So they are trained to see risks in everything and to manage those risks. That's why many lawyers are bad business people. Many lawyers. Because to become a business person, you need to take risks. But to become a lawyer, you need to avoid risks and to manage and anticipate risks. So from that point of view, buying stocks in international market to me as a lawyer was too risky, and I was still unable to stop a lawyer inside me who always keeps talking. So maybe that's the reason. I never thought about this deep down, but I assume that's the reason. Yes, please.
So you said that you buy only local stocks.
Yes.
And your character, your personality doesn't allow you to risk. Am I right?
Well, I take risks, but not on international stocks.
Have you ever regretted that you didn't risk to buy international?
No, never. Never. I think not because of business mentality. I simply think as a human being, you should not regret about what didn't happen in the past. You should start learning that there are things you will achieve in life and things you will not achieve in life, and you just get used to that as you become mature. So if I didn't manage certain things in life, I take them as lessons but I prefer not to regret about that.
Keeping your motivation.
Yeah, because you have to be motivated to go forward. You can regret about personal things, you can regret about some friendships that you lost, for example. But if you start regretting your business decisions, that's a very dangerous path. You, please. Mm-hmm. Yes. It was what? Yes. Yeah. No, it's again a dangerous way, but thank you for asking, because as I said earlier, I think I also mentioned that yesterday as well. To become successful, you don't have to create a company. To become successful, you don't have to be an entrepreneur or a business person. You can be extremely helpful, extremely happy, and career-wise extremely successful while working somewhere. In fact, you can be the happiest man or woman in the world while working for some NGO. So it's not about financial issue. NGOs typically don't have significant salaries or profits. You have to ask yourself what's your goal in life, what you want, what you can, and what you want. If you can do much more than your current job, then you start asking more and more follow-up questions, which lead you to a conclusion that, oh, maybe I should leave and find another place to work. But if what you are doing currently in your current job gives you maximum satisfaction, everybody loves you, you love everybody, you're happy in your job, I don't think you change your job just because it feels like a comfort zone. You remember we spoke about this quite a lot. You can escape comfort zone while staying in your current job. For some people, it will be, I don't know, maybe working with other departments in parallel on some project. Or maybe you just find another way to express your creative abilities. The thing is, people attach too much importance to their career choice. Life is not about career only. You have to have hobbies outside work. You have to have interests outside your job environment. You have to have friends outside your job environment. That's how you maximize your creative abilities, your personal needs, and that's how you become a happier person. Because if you only focus on work and you want to get all your needs satisfied from this single channel, you just put in too much into one place. You're trying to get from work what it is not designed to give you. The job is not designed to give you the entire happiness. It's only one element of life. Yeah, it's a significant element. We spend 1/3 of our time in our jobs. It's a significant amount of time, but it's just 1/3. The other 2/3 are much more important things. For each person, there's a different. For each person, there's a different variety of interests. For me, work was always important. Maybe more important than it should be, but that's who I am. Maybe you are not that person. Maybe you find more pleasure in reading books, and you're counting hours to go back home and start reading your favorite book. And And that can be a lifestyle of its own. And then from reading books, you do so much, you add so much value to people around you that I can never add as a business person. So everybody must have interest. You shouldn't think about career as a one-size-fits-all solution, as career, something will solve all my problems in my life. Absolutely not. That's a mistake most people make, by the way. When they're unhappy in their personal life, you can see those people when you go to job, to work, you see people who are unhappy in their personal life, in their friendship, in some other relationship issues. And that's also reflected in their job. You can definitely clearly see that. And the opposite of it is when a person is unhappy in the job, goes back to his family, and his family sees the impact of his unhappiness in his job. So that's how you're unable to properly manage the balance between your work life and your home life. That's why you should have completely separate chambers in your brain, in your heart, in your time. This chamber is my work chamber. These are my goals. The moment you are out of that chamber, you should close it and focus on something else, and that's how you get maximum pleasure from life. So somebody asked about my hobby, my new challenge, horse riding. I really take it very serious. I mean, it's not just I go there to spend my time. I take horse riding as a chamber of my life. I have to spend time with it, I have to read about it, I have to watch about it, I have to talk to people about it. When I'm doing that, I'm doing just that. I'm entirely immersed into that process. And that's where you get some level of satisfaction. Maybe it's sports, maybe reading, maybe music, maybe dancing. It doesn't really matter. Everybody has their own preferences. So think about career as a very important step in your life, a new step in your life, because you have been doing all the other chambers until now. You have a personal life, you have hobbies, and the only thing missing in your equation is career. That's why it's so attractive to you. The moment I get a career, I will be a whole and complete person. Yes, provided that you know the place of that chamber in your life and you don't over-exaggerate its importance. Because a good employer wants you to be happy. If you're lucky enough to work with good employers, they will want to see you happy entirely, as a whole. Not just, oh, this person is great at the job, but this person is unhappy in his family. That person will sooner or later fail in the job as well, because that person is not complete. Unfortunately, we have examples. So that your employer will really want a complete person who is happy everywhere. And that person is so attractive to everyone.